Let's go. It is Run 2. This is the first Run 2 game that I'm seeing. I've got KuperMeister in the bottom left of Lost and Found, and in the top right we've got Mars. Have a look at Lost and Found. Look, this is a big map. It is large. It's got some interesting features, Lost and Found. You know, it's got this weird kind of path. The A is impeded by these destructible rocks, but B, no matter which side you come from, you're going to have to fight up a hill. It's a nasty little path to take any sort of engagement through, but of course that path is open for stuff getting across the map quickly, as long as there's nothing on the other side of it. Destructible rocks all over the show. You've got these destructible rocks. You can kind of see on the mini map here destructible rocks in various locations, some of which just create chokes rather than completely blocking paths, some of which completely block the paths. So big old map, very easy to hold your natural generally, but it is unusual in as much as it isn't a raised natural. So there's no ramp. This is level ground into the natural. Level with the third as well, and indeed the fourth. You could expo in this direction if you prefer that. Personally, as I recall playing on this map, never liked this one so much, even though it does have this choke. This kind of location always felt a bit iffy, too easy for run-bys to swing around this corner and get in there. But anyway, let's see what is going to happen here. MarsBar with the Gateway Expo. I quite like that because it is a big map. So I don't mind the Expo before Sidecore. I'm not sure about following that up with the Zealot though, and I don't know why MarsBar is not building workers. Oh, he's supply cap, that's why. I think I would have skipped the Zealot and got the Sidecore on for sure. But more than that, I think I'd have scouted because if there's where are we at? If there's 3 barracks over here, this nexus before Sidecore is suicide. Yeah, interesting location for a pylon. Not at the front here. I think I prefer the front so I can get my shield batteries done. Oh, here we go. Another 2 racks coming down on KuperMeister's side of the map. And his expo is just going to finish up shortly. Of course, sort of a barracks expo is pretty standard stuff from Terran, but does tend to be a double racks before that expo, or barracks factory before expo. Less extreme though when it's Terran, because of course Marines are so versatile. Reaper coming in is going to be able to have a good peek about it. This Reaper can dance away from the Zealots all day long. And can be pretty annoying, but what you've got to be careful of when you're the Terran player is not to over micro the Reaper, because all too often you spend so much time dancing about with the Reaper and you're thinking, oh, I'm doing really well, I'm getting a bit of damage done, I'm getting a bit of scouting done, but all that time you've spent microing that Reaper means that you're not necessarily macroing the time. Now, with that said, you don't want to lose the Reaper to Zealots, which move at about half the speed of a Reaper. So, yeah, that's a little disappointing. This full wall has trapped these SCVs, so when you've got the Marines out the front, you don't really have to worry about anything coming into scout. So these depots can be lowered as a kind of standard thing. I tend to have my wall on a control group. For me it's 3, it doesn't matter what number I choose, it's neither here nor there, but it is really handy to have that, so if a bunch of adepts come in or whatever, you see them at the last minute, it's really quick with your left hand to tap 3R and raise the supply depots. Anywho, single stalker out the front is going to see off any sort of scout or any, certainly give you plenty of time if, sometimes you see what Terran will do is that just really quickly get sort of 4 or 5 Marines out and just walk across the map with them straight away. And you'd be surprised how often you can get quite a number of worker kills done with that, because you can really catch the Protoss with their pants down if they just don't have anything at the front. Because that can certainly happen. Has he transferred workers from here or something? There's only like 8 out of 16 workers, and this is a bit miserable, isn't it? With oversaturation down here, it's a bit weird. But yeah, we're a little bit lit for that type of push here, but having a stalker somewhere at the front can really deal with that, because a stalker outranges the Marines and moves faster than them as well until stim is done. Yeah, so if they start moved across the map right now, they'd actually get quite a lot done, and they don't have so far to walk, because they wouldn't be engaging in these chokes. They're not chokes, are they? Dips. I don't really know what you call them. Anyway, that's not what we're saying happen here. Conversely, by the way, as a Protoss, you'd be amazed at what you can get done if you chrono out the first, if you literally just kind of go get side core, chrono out the first stalker, march it across the map with the second stalker rally to chrono it out as well. You'd be amazed at how much hurt you can put on a Terran, because similarly you can catch them with their pants down. Maybe they've only got 2 Marines and stalker just beats that. Literally simple as that, and then they have no choice but to try and micro workers against you, and you'll keep the Marine numbers down early, and you'll probably get a few kills before there's sort of sufficient Marineage to actually worry the stalker. And in theory, as long as you're not foolish with it, the stalker will escape, because it can outrun Marines. Simple as that. Anyway, there is this is getting to be actually quite scary. With the 2 medevacs, there is a lot of damage output from this army. Just look at the imbalance here, 42 to 13. MarsBar is in trouble if KuperMeister pushes across the map. Doesn't look like he's been focusing his chrono on workers either, because he doesn't actually have much of a worker lead, and actually both Nexus are full energy. Yeah, I feel like MarsBar is going to be in trouble when this lands. Cooper does need to be careful that the medevacs don't lead. You never want the medevacs at the front. You want the medevacs behind your units. So we'll see what he's going to do here. He might elect to lift and drop into the main base, and that would probably be what I would go for, especially if just send 1 Marine up and see what there is here. Why would you fight this when all you've got to do is bung it all in? Actually, there's too much for the 2 medevacs, isn't there? But nevertheless, I think I'd still be inclined to bung most of it into the medevacs and just drop it in. But there hasn't been a scan or anything, so I don't think Coop has much of an idea of what he's walking into. And I would quite like to see the scan come down. Coop currently supply blocked, so is he going to go for this? He is. Stim is done. So he can focus on this pylon, and this is going to turn out nasty. He has got enough here to just overpower this. I'd love to see some more medevacs in production. There actually are, as I said. And yeah, they're with the really lit side core, there's no warp gate tech done for MarsBar, and there's no shield batteries in sight. There is no way MarsBar can hold this. If this siege tank just sieges up here, this is over. Or even move the siege tank to here, siege it up, and then you can elevator all of this stuff in with the medevacs. Now that there's 3 medevacs, I think most of it will fit. So yeah, things looking pretty diabolical. This is look at this position. I don't know about having it so far ahead. If these zealots have charge, as soon as this fires a shot, the zealots will run around the corner and they'll be on it. So why wouldn't you have your Marines in a position to support it? If this tank had vision,
Mineral field
it would shoot this stuff. So if you fly the medevac to here, the tank will actually open fire. That is almost definitely in range there. There we go. So yeah, the stim goes down, and this is just going to run in and absolutely ruin everything. These zealots are actually trapped and can't. That is nasty. And now really what's left, there's some void rays, but without the shield batteries, the Marines are just going to focus them down all too quickly. There was 2 void rays at the back that weren't involved, which seems like an awful shame. Yeah, once the Marines get under these voids, they're not going to last long, and with the medevacs healing them, this force is just unstoppable. Focuses down the pylon, all of the production goes out apart from this robo. The single Colossus is great if you've got zealots and stuff in front of it, but on its own, this is just too much. And there are 5 marauders in here as well. That with medevacs don't really suffer from the splash. Oh no, don't really suffer from the splashback. without Colossus wrench, it was going to be a tall order for the Colossus to get anything done at all. This I don't know, weird positioning kind of on the ramp there, but yeah. So not a massively eventful game without much harass or anything like that going on. But MarsBar definitely off the pace on the macro and just didn't really keep up with KuperMeister in terms of building an army, nor did he really get ahead in terms of economy, which in general you can do as Protoss because of Chrono Boost. You can get far more workers up. That's kind of balanced out by the Terran. Terran has the slowest worker production, obviously as Zerg. Because you're turning larvae into workers, you can saturate a base very quickly. As Protoss, you can saturate a base quickly because you can chrono boost out workers and greatly reduce their build time. As Terran, you can do neither of those things, but of course you have mules that you can drop so that you can have the same income with fewer workers, and that should all that all roughly balances out. Anyway, enough of me. GG, GG.